Hey there, welcome in Cleveland Browns Daily on a Football Friday edition of the program, brought to you by great friends at Ballybet, coming soon to Ohio. Of course, I am merely Bo. He is the great Z. How you living, buddy?
I'm doing well, man. Special 1 hour pod. It's like one of these things that you've dreamt about.
We've only discussed this all the time. It'd be amazing.
Yeah,
knock it out. Give everybody what they want. You get the full hour, and then we walk, and there you go. I mean, if the wind could go down, perhaps hit the chase the small ball a little bit.
Oh God,
this is right on the cusp. Right on the cusp.
I think it's absolutely small ball weather. I might indulge, as a matter of fact, afterwards today. I gotta tell you, coming in here, our Thursday night heaters are unreal.
I don't know what you want from us.
I don't know what you want from us either. It's unbelievable. And just so people know, like, we have a spreadsheet. So when you gave that, what I wrote in the spreadsheet was Washington, because that's how Thursdays
of course they
are
know
done.
that.
If they're watching this, they're in the club.
Yeah, sure, so for sure. Yeah, anybody watching this
they
will
know
know. Yeah, right,
but it's an unreal heater. And I got to tell you, these Thursday night games being this brutal, I mean, they're awful. The last two are horrific.
I left. I couldn't take it.
Horrific.
I got home from football. I watched for a while. I had to play some Mario Kart with Bootsy. Then I watched for a while. I couldn't take it. It's so frustrating, like what's happened to Justin Fields. I'm like, you've got to get him out of here.
It's like watching, like somebody that you want to do well just put in a position to fail.
Put in the biggest position to fail ever. They look like Illinois with those absurd orange helmets, which looked ridiculous. I'm convinced that the Washington Commanders is the worst rebrand maybe in the history of sports.
Ever.
I mean, the uniforms look like a created team. It's just the worst
like
thing.
A bad created
A bad one, yeah. The fact that they're short for commies, like they didn't think any of it through.
No.
You got Al Michaels on the cast, which is owned by Amazon and Bezos, saying NFL owners want you to step down while Dan Snyder's on the screen. Like that happened last night in the broadcast. Okay. I've never seen anything like that in my life. I found that far more entertaining than the game. That was crazy.
So where I was going with that
Continue.
is they are so brutal that the disgust that Al Michaels has for having to do these games is awesome. Like, it's almost worth it for them to be this bad for him to pepper the game with his insults of what's happening. It's great. And to your point, though, him saying that about Dan Snyder was absolutely, he was told to say that by somebody. Like, that was, hey, let's go ahead.
Perhaps by multiple factions.
Of course. Yes.
Yeah.
That was they
big. Had an owner of an NFL team on camera.
That's right.
And Michael said, you need to sell the team because everybody wants you to.
That's right.
That happened last night in the broadcast.
That
was absolutely stupefying. I've never seen that. It is. You have to remember, Al, for 40 years, called one of the three best games every weekend. For 40 years. And now he's calling
every
dogs.
Weekend.
He's calling, like, this is like the Spiro Ditas game. And he's getting
God.
them every Thursday.
Next
2 Thursdays in a row. It's not
Saints.
great. It's Cardinals and Saints. I mean, if it's a Call of Duty weekend, Kyler's going to.
It is a Call of Duty.
He's going to complete 16% of his passes. So that's brutal. It could be Dalton.
Man.
Oh, not good. I feel terrible for Fields. I think he's cooked. I don't think he can recover from this.
He can't see. He doesn't.
I think he's broken.
He's broken. He can't see the field. By the way,
when they took that shot of him when he took the deep, and I went, oh man, broken.
Tough guy because he took a beating. Took an absolute beating. Very tough guy, but he can't see. I mean, how many throws did he not see dudes running wide open?
Yeah, it's over. I think it's done. And it's funny, like, it's not funny. It's actually sad.
You need to get him to Kyle. The Niners need to – that's the spot where he could still be saved.
There's a couple of spots there. I think Miami with McDaniel.
Sure,
I think, Minnesota here. There are certain places where you have Jets, people who will cultivate a kid and a quarterback and put him in position to succeed and make it simple for him. Even like Philly, if you just swap Hurts and Fields, I think Fields is physically more talented than Hurts. That's without question. It is. I mean, this is we saw this on the field. I mean, it's not close. And you see what they're getting out of Hurts. That's a great example of what happens when you're in the best possible scenario as opposed to the worst. He's in the worst possible, and he's done. I mean, I think it's cooked. I don't see any scenario where if I'm them, I keep him beyond this year because you're only going to make his value less. I said they should have traded him at the draft. I said it many times. They should trade him right now. They're not in a position to put him in succeed. If you could still get a 1, and maybe you could have last year at the draft, now it's going to be a mid-round pick at best.
The problem is the teams that we all mentioned The Niners don't have that trade ammo.
Well, he's not worth a 1 anymore, though. Now you might be able to get him for a 3.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, he's pretty broken. It is definitely a reclamation project. The Niners don't have the trade ammo. The Jets have Zach Wilson, who they like. We have Deshaun.
I thought about Minnesota.
Minnesota is a successor to Kirk Cousins.
Cousins fades out. Maybe that would be a fit.
That's something that I guarantee that Kwesi would be thinking about.
Yeah.
And it would make sense. Here's the thing, though. Do you do something like that in your own division? Like, could you send Justin Fields to the Vikings
Probably
on
not.
the chance that you're wrong?
Probably not. No, probably not. I just hope he's not like in Carolina next year starting week 1. Like, that's the last scenario that is needed. He needs to go someplace.
He needs to go to that offense, though, where it's like for a while it's a one-read offense for him.
Yeah,
and
that's it.
You can scheme him up confidence, and then he can start going through his progression.
There wasn't one designed run for him. I mean, like,
he's so quick to run, though.
He is. I think he's battered. Like, the bad –
but
I mean,
like,
you remember what happened to him here?
So bad.
Do you remember what happened to him here?
Yeah, we sacked them 9. They had 1 yard of passing.
It was malfeasance. Like,
well,
I mean, that was the start of it. Like,
totally.
So that's your first start was what we did to him here.
Yeah.
And now you think about a year later, a little more than a year later, it's done. It's absolutely done. Brutal game.
How about Carson Wentz for 99 yards?
Oh, they suck.
Curtis Samuel dropped an easy touchdown.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, despite as bad as all of it was, the Bears are 3 times inside the 5, including one time where if Mooney just catches it cleanly, it's a win.
Cleanly. Incredible catch.
Great catch. But he got it clean.
Totally, in the end zone.
A touchdown, game over, you win.
Yeah.
But we knew that they wouldn't.
We knew, of course.
In terms of our game,
we're so good.
We are just on an incredible heater right now. We're back at practice today for hosting the Patriots on Sunday in a must-win for us. This is discouraging. An injury update for us on Sunday. Jadeveon Clowney out. We knew that Denzel Ward would be out. I was hopeful that Clowney was just a veteran's rest as this week was going along, but I guess not. He's down. That changes a lot. It's an enormous difference when he's there and when he's not. Incredible.
I mean, it is a monstrous difference. Here's the thing, folks. Jadeveon Clowney on the season, 1.5 sacks, tackle for loss, forced fumble. He's got 11 pressures, quarterback pressures, which are second on the team. And remember, he missed the game against Atlanta and the Steelers, right? He missed 2 games.
Yeah.
And he's still second pressures. He's the number 8 edge rusher at Pro Football Focus. Myles Garrett, of course, is the number 1. But you haven't gotten anything yet from Alex Wright. Isaac Rochelle has been good. He's been good, but he is not the pass rusher. He's got 1 pressure on the season. He's not the pass rusher that Jadeveon Clowney is. So when I say that this is a big, big loss for the Cleveland Browns, it's an enormous loss for the Cleveland Browns, a monstrous loss. Jadeveon Clowney is the guy. We said, number 1, get the quarterback. Number 2, get Jadeveon Clowney back here. Here's the problem. Your number 3 defensive end was supposed to be Chase Winovich. He's not healthy. He hasn't been available for you all year long. And so you're in a situation now where you don't have the horses that you wanted to have, that you thought you were going to have. And so you're going to count on Isaac Rochelle again to probably get the start, would be my guess, opposite of Jadeveon Clowney. But
Miles, you mean, yeah.
I mean, opposite Miles. But let's not forget, Isaac Rochelle's a guy that wasn't on our – he was on our 53. Then we cut him, and then we brought him back. Nobody else in the league signed them to their 53.
Right.
That's what we're dealing with, and we already know the deficiencies we have at defensive tackle, which have been well documented and unfortunately are quite obvious. But now it falls on Alex Wright, who is, as a rookie, has not yet kind of turned the page, or a guy in Isaac Rochelle who is a good, kind of veteran journeyman defensive end. That's not what you wanted. And in a game where you have got to, number 1, stop the run, and number 2, put them in those situations where they have to throw the football and get to them, get after their quarterback, not having him is a very, very big deal. I'm sorry. It's a big, big deal. And we said, number 1, stop the run. He's one of the best run defending defensive ends in the league. And you saw that last week.
Mm-hmm.
He was like the only guy that was dominant against the run. This is a big loss, and it hurts. And you're now going to be 3 out of your first 6 games without Jadeveon Clowney. That's not good.
No, and there's no Band-Aid on that. That's a very, very difficult one. Stefanski just a couple of minutes ago regarding Clowney said, quote, "I don't want to get into specifics. Just felt like he couldn't make it this week." So that was
I don't know what that means.
I don't either. It's cryptic. little cryptic.
I don't like that.
It's one of those things that makes you what I don't like about the phrasing of that is, and I know that this is our policy, right? Like we don't give a whole lot when it comes to information.
Sure.
We'll keep that inside the team and those type of things. We hear that stuff a lot, but I don't want to get into specifics. Makes it feel like there's more to it. It makes it seem fishy when I don't know if it is. Maybe he came back too quick last week, or maybe there was some sort of a pushback.
It doesn't feel like he came back too quickly.
Felt like he was really good last week.
He was really good last week. And so I don't know what's going on there, but I'm with you in terms of the verbiage making it feel like more than perhaps that it is.
Yeah. So that is a bit of a bummer when you think about this game on Sunday. When you think about the roadmap to victory, all of those things remain the same. From the New England side of things, we're not going to probably know who's quarterbacking them until what? Game time? It feels like it'd be Bailey Zappi. It feels like they're headed that way. I can't imagine Mac Jones playing.
Agreed. I feel like
Does it matter?
I mean, Mac Jones is certainly more experienced. He's done more. You know what I mean? Was a Pro Bowler. He's led them to 10 wins. From what we need to do as a defense, does it matter as much? No. I think that priority one is stopping the run and trying to get them into these obvious passing situations, stopping Ramondre Stevenson. I will tell you this for Zappi, though, you get him in play action situations. Zappi so far this year, 85%, 12.1 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, and 156.6 quarterback rating off of play action. And you could say, well, they're playing the Lions, the worst defense, but he played a big portion, in fact, the entire game against Green Bay, basically.
Yeah.
Right? Hoyer was knocked out on first series.
Really? Yeah, but right away. Yep.
So that's against a very good defense. And so he's been good. I mean, the guy set all these records at Western Kentucky. He's been good. He's outplayed Mac Jones so far this year. Now, we've seen things like this in the past where a guy comes in and then now all of a sudden there's some tape on him. And so we're going to know his tendencies. Like he has a strong tendency to throw the ball to the middle or the right side of the field and not the left.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how we can use that to our advantage, but hopefully we can. It doesn't change the task. It makes it more difficult, though, not having Jadeveon Clowney. But as far as which quarterback starts, the task's still the same. I mean, obviously, there's probably a little bit more belief in Mac Jones than Bailey Zappi, but Bailey Zappi's been darn good.
Yeah. The other thing he has been, I mean, it really just comes down to can you stop the run? That will be the entire operation when you think about what we're trying to do defensively. I still can't. Did you get a chance to watch them against the Lions? Did you watch that?
I watched the whole game.
How did they do that? How was Detroit defensively for them? Why was Detroit so inept?
Well, one, the offense put them in some tough situations. But really, Detroit, let's not forget, this is a team that just was on pace to give up the most points in NFL history.
They've given up that's not what I'm saying. The goose egg.
Why did they score 0?
How did New England hold them to nothing?
Oh,
I mean, it's a team that's scoring in the 35. What happened?
So they threw a pick down near the goal line. They went for it on 4th down 6 times.
Jeez.
And were 0 for 6. 4 of those happened in easy field goal range, but they wanted to get touchdowns. Like they could have scored they could have scored on field goals alone like 15 points if they wanted to, but they decided we need touchdowns because at some point they were down big. And so they moved the ball down the field on them, no problem.
Yeah.
They just on 4th down went 0 for 6.
Well, there you go. New England on the other side of things was incredibly efficient last week. Zappi was 17-21 for 188, the touchdown and the pick of a rating of 100. Ramondre Stevenson, who was a guy that a lot of people talked about in fantasy leading up to the year, he has delivered all of that. And in fact, I think the injury to Damian Harris is only going to enhance him going forward. He was incredible last week against obviously a very, very poor Lions defense. It was 25 for 161. He had a long of 50 in that game. So he is a force to be reckoned with for sure.
Not a home run hitter, but 230 pounds of
big
just
dude.
Power, and he's decisive in his cuts. He's averaging 5.5 yards a carry for the year, so it wasn't just one game, although that was a career high. He got us for 102 scores last year. Damian Harris didn't play against us last year either. So Ramondre Stevenson is a darn good player. I don't know if you heard Bill Belichick's comments about him. They were as effusive as I've ever heard Bill Belichick about his own players. It was like he was talking about Ramondre Stevenson like he was Nick Chubb on another team. Just, I'm so happy we have him. He's incredible. He does everything the right way. I mean, loves him. Like, I'm so happy Ramondre Stevenson is on our squad. And so, yeah, he's going to be a huge piece of what they do. This is going to be a game where you have two defenses that are going to do everything they can to sell out and stop the run. We have better receivers, and I got to tell you, I had an unreal chat with Amari Cooper earlier today. He is the closest to the Hoff that I've encountered in my time, 10 years here, in terms of superstar talent, superstar preparation, just complete commitment to understanding every possible nuance to make sure that he is the best that he can be.
He's a technician.
Master.
When will that'll air on the pregame?
In the pregame show.
All right, you'll have that to look forward to on the pregame show. Hey, Cleveland Browns fans, skip the chore of laundry. Enjoy life, not laundry. Tide Cleaners is offering 30% off dry cleaning for the month of October and be entered to win 4 VIP Browns tickets to an upcoming Browns game. Just mention promo code Browns. Visit TideCleaners.com to find the closest location nearest you. Some exclusions may apply. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily. All right, welcome back into Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, coming soon to Ohio. Pretty cool story this afternoon. Joe Haden going to retire, one-day contract, retire as a Cleveland Brown. Will be honored before the Bengals game on Halloween night, which will be special. You knew him well, obviously. I think it's pretty remarkable because it's almost an exact same amount of time in both places, and yet this remains where the heart is.
Joe Haden, when I started here, the two best players on the Browns were Joe Thomas and Joe Haden. And actually, in one of my past gigs, I interviewed Joe Haden the night he was drafted at Radio City Music Hall.
Did you really?
Yeah, and so got to talk to him, then actually flew back to Cleveland with him the next day. And so he's a tremendous guy. He always loved the city. Mm-hmm. He embraced the city. He was always courtside for the Cavs.
Always.
He's just a phenomenal guy. And I remember when he signed his second contract here, it was like the only people that we drafted that ever signed second contracts here were Joe Thomas and him.
Yep.
Which is wild when you think about how many early picks we had, but at the time. And so just a great guy. He loved it here. I think if he could have closed out his career here, he would have done it in a heartbeat. I know it was one of the places that, when he was getting very choosy about whether or not he'd continue playing after last season, this was one of the places that he would have considered playing. I love Joe. While he was here, got to see him start his beautiful family, and he just awesome. And the way that it all went down sucked.
Yeah.
And there were big mixed emotions about it. And then, he went and played for the Steelers and was very good with them. But I'm so happy he wants to retire a Brown. He is a Brown. He is class on and off the field. I'm so excited that, I know we're going to get to talk to him, obviously, for this thing. But love Joe Haden, and always has a smile on his face, always enthusiastic, positive. He was a real asset, and it was a shame that because of what we were doing that he did not get to play his whole career here. He deserved to play his whole career here if that was what he wanted. So that part of it is unfortunate, but I think he probably also enjoyed that he ended up getting to play, playoff football and games of great consequence. So it's amazing. He did look good as a Steeler, and I know that's not, people don't like that, but he did. He looked good as a Steeler. He looked great as a Brown, and I'm thrilled for him. He deserves to retire as a Brown, and he'll be one day, in the Browns legends and all of that, because he deserves that. He was that good.
He was the first guy that he was drafted shortly after I moved to Ohio, and married a Cleveland girl, and he was one of the first of the new Browns that was really out.
Yeah,
being I am the Browns. He was cool with it. Like he was everywhere, whether it was at the time Indians games or Cavs games, even when it wasn't fashionable to do, he was. And you, even from afar, I could see that. I didn't have the personal connection that you did, but it was a stunning thing. And I've told the story before. I was on with Dockich one time, and he was asking me just we were doing Buckeye basketball or something. Yeah, and he goes, hey, I got to ask you a question about the Browns. You know anything about the Browns? And I said, yeah, go ahead, shoot. And he goes, hey, how does Joe Haden have the number 1 selling jersey in the NFL? And I said, well, it's one of the great fan bases in the NFL. He is their most face-forward player, and he's beloved. And they got new uniforms. And so who else are you going to buy? That's it. You're going to buy Joe Haden. And so that's how that happened. But he just played it with such joy, too.
Totally.
Actually covered him a little bit at the University of Florida when he was down there. So there was a little bit of crossover there from his time at UF. So I love the pick and love the idea of getting a day to celebrate him. I think it's absolutely sensational.
Me too. It's great.
It will be interesting.
It's going to be fun. That's going to be, obviously, we got to get there. We've got 2 games to go. I mean, that game could be ginormous in a good way. It could be ginormous in a bad way. There's a lot that could happen in the next 2 weeks, but it'll be cool to have Joe Haden there.
He will definitely be honored on Monday night.
Yeah.
So the press release, I went and asked the guys over in PR. I said, when is that? When's the possibility of this happening? And they said, this does have to be an official transaction. So they have to wait to put a guy on IR, cut a guy. Joe Haden literally has to take someone's spot on the roster, even if it's for 2 hours.
Oh, really? Okay.
So everything's in flux because I've seen people on Twitter even ask, when is that going to happen and
I see.
How is it going to happen? Ideally, it will happen the couple days, that late in the week before that Monday night game. But really and truly, it could happen at any time if there's an opening to be able to put him on the roster.
Jeez,
I'm like,
the gymnastics
there's got to be an exemption. The NFL's got to do something about that, I feel like.
Make it a little easier, right? One way or another, that'll be a monster game for both teams. Let's remember, we're both 2-3 at this point. They're down in New Orleans this week. Obviously, we have the Patriots. Ours is, I think, more of a must-win than them in that it's an AFC game. But either way, that game is a monster for both teams involved. There's a new way to cheer on your Cleveland Browns with the help of your favorite four-legged companion, Barking Backers, presented by Milkbone, is the Browns' newest club for pet parents worldwide. Sign up today at barkingbackers.com. Barking Backers, the fan club for dogs. And there's nothing quite like tailgating touchdowns and Twisted Tea. Tastes just like real iced tea. You know why? Because it's made with real brewed tea. Cool, refreshing, and with a 5% kick of alcohol. It's thirst down and goal. Twisted Tea, hard iced tea. Keep it twisted. Time for a little game we like to call Over Under.
Oh, baby.
Oh, baby. Let's review the records from last week where a renaissance for Gibby.
Really?
Oh, boy.
Yes!
Gibby gets a win along with Hoff, a shared win. Everybody wins last week. It was the first time that we had everybody finish with a winning record. Hoff and Gibby both 4-1. You missed Hoff missed on the Chubb Hunt touches. Gibby's only miss was the sacks, interceptions, and fumbles.
I have a 3-year streak on that.
You've never hit
Chubb
on it.
and Hunt, so unkind to me.
They were so unkind to you. You went 3-2, so you're a winner too. So as we head into this week's game, we are looking at Hoff with your lead. He is 14-11 in the over-unders.
Let's just say he's got 14.
Okay, he has 14 wins.
Yep.
14 wins for Hoff. Do you want me to just do that for the Hoff, or for you to extend that same courtesy to both of you?
Certainly for both of us.
Okay.
You can tell me how many losses I have. I'm fine with that, too.
Okay, that's fine. So Gibby's record is 10-15, 10 wins, 15 losses, and Zagura has 10 wins.
Thank you very much.
Oh, we're tied.
There you go. There you go.
Big week here, week 6, in more ways than one.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, as the over-under administrator, I'm a little shook because this is the first time that you guys have outsmarted the numbers as a whole. We haven't had that yet.
Yeah.
Usually there's, as evidenced by the records, usually it's gone the other way. But last week it was perhaps the numbers were a little too kind, so that is what we're going to have to deal with here. So let's start with the first one, and we will start with Gibby since he won the week. So, again, we're dealing with the touches. This is always a tricky one trying to sort this out. I've had a very good feel for it for much of the weeks. And so this week, Chubb and Hunt on the touches, total touches, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, 33.5, Gibby. 33.5. And Gibby
over.
Points.
Run the damn ball, kids.
Over for the total touches. Segura. Over. Next. Over or under?
Yes.
Jacoby Brissett, quarterback rating, Zagura, over or under whoever quarterbacks the Patriots quarterback rating?
Over. Brissett.
Over. Get it.
I will go over as well.
Over as well. Next. Over or under?
It's better than the
Chief,
sound effect. It's so
the
much
Chief, and Amari Cooper catches, total catches, Chief and Amari. The number, Zagura, is 12.5.
It's a good number. It's a fair number. Chiefs had, 5 or more catches in 3 straight games.
Mm-hmm.
They are going to do 2 things. They are going to, 1, try to take away our ground game, and then the second priority, I think, is going to be to take away either Amari Cooper or David Njoku. And that is a Bill Belichick staple.
Yep.
He'll often put his number 2 corner on your – he'll put his number 1 corner on your number 2, and then he will double your number 1.
Yep.
So I think that this is going to be a game where we're going to have to mix it around. Now, Amari Cooper told me I absolutely can beat double coverage because they're not used to playing. He actually had a really good, insightful reason as to why he can beat double coverage. And I think that he will, but I'm going to go under. I think we're going to be right around 10 or 11 for the 2 of them.
Give it.
Yeah, it's Belichick. I have to take the under there. Someone else is going to have to step up and make plays. Could be a big day for Donovan Peoples-Jones.
God, I hope so.
I mean, it could be a big day for Kareem Hunt catching the ball out of the backfield. Someone else is going to have to take some heat off of that because I think Belichick could sell out to stop to take those guys away.
Do you think she realizes like the excitement of how thrilled we are to see Miss K?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See how she feels.
She's
equally as excited.
Yeah, I feel like it.
To be
yeah.
fair,
I think she's very jacked up to see us.
Yeah.
All right. Next. Over or under? Sacks, interceptions, and fumbles. Gibby hasn't gotten this right in 3 years.
That you lead with me on this.
Sorry. The number we're looking. No Clowney. Last time out. Goose egg. Zilch.
you only have 3 sacks as a team in the last 3 games.
It ain't great, brother.
3.
I know it. The number, therefore, is low. 2.5, Gibby.
Over.
2.5.
Over.
Dude.
Come on.
Come on.
I'm running
I went
to the
low.
bank.
I'm going
Come
low.
on.
I'm running to the bank. We're
We
going
got to
go
be
low.
able to get 3. Have we done the same every one, Gibby?
You've gone the
Yeah,
same
terrifying.
every one. Every one has been the same, and
This is
that could be a
terrifying.
problem with the over-unders, too. Maybe they're too easy for you boys again this week. We have to bring in a new administrator. Next, over or under?
By the way, even if we go 5-0, we'll be at 500 for
That's
the
right.
2 of us.
Yeah. The actual Zagura, 43.5 is the actual Browns-Patriots Sunday.
Hold, please.
Yep. He's looking for some,
What are you
looking
gonna pull
for some
out?
sort
what
of.
are you doing?
He's looking for some numbers here.
The
He's
Browns
looking-
have gone over 4 times.
Yep.
The Patriots are 2 overs, 3 unders. So combined 6 and 4. So pretty even Steven there. They've actually scored as an offense 26, 24, 29 the last 3 weeks.
Yep. Real
Yeah,
juggernaut.
I'm going to take the over.
Over. Give it.
I was waiting just to say over. So we're
Oh
gonna
my
be the same
God.
across the
So
board
we're
here.
tied next
This has
week?
never happened.
Never.
No.
We've
Two
never-
like-minded men coming with the exact
I
same
can't-
answers.
I
It
can't
has never
change.
happened
I
in the
can't change
history.
who I am
No,
on
you
this.
got to be honest with yourself, Gibby. You got to do it. The
This
Game
is
Day
terrifying.
forecast is brought to you by Carrier, a partner of the Cleveland Browns. Clear skies, temps in the low 60s for kickoff at 1 p.m.
I'll take that in
Yeah.
mid to late October.
Yeah, Beamsy's going. We're taking Beamsy and I and NBC and his buddy young Dominic, so we're all going to the game.
No boots.
He doesn't have the stomach for it.
Not ready yet.
We went
Might be
last
a
year
little
with him,
young
remember, and he was heartbroken by Chops.
He really did. He opted out.
He opted out.
What?
Opted out. Yeah.
I'm floored.
I think my guess is that what's been done on the other end to incentivize him to remain home is probably pretty extreme. I could see. I mean, if you think about the things that matter most to him.
Hold on a second. So
here's what I would think would matter most to him: some sort of a donut in the morning, followed by probably a trip to Target where he could buy something, followed by probably either one of his buddies coming over and they have full run of the house without their brothers lording over
Let me ask you a
him.
question. So
And then
this,
probably ending with some sort of a bounce house. That's my guess on what his Sunday looks like.
So was this one of those Bootsy opted out because you convinced Bootsy that he wanted to opt out?
He is. So one, he's scarred by what happened with Chomps last year.
Okay.
Like you've all seen the image.
Looking back on it,
was heartbreaking.
What we know
Devastating.
was not a bad thing for Boots.
Might been okay, but you will remember he cried when I did the coaches show remote and put Chomps on the phone. You remember that?
Yeah.
When I FaceTime with Chomps?
Yeah.
He was crying because it meant so much to him. It was crazy.
Yeah.
How invested he was with that stuffed animal. So that, and then yeah. I mean, so this it just I could have seen like third quarter, it being brisk. And him being like, "I'm cold, Dad. We're good. I'm done."
So this was preventative.
It was preventative.
This was.
I easily could have sold him on it.
100%.
Easy.
But
like,
you were more inclined to sell him on not it.
The other option I think is better for all,
everybody.
for all involved.
Everybody.
Because if there's a shaded side and a sun side,
it's cold.
There
and
will
shady.
be a sizable temperature difference.
Are you on the visitor side?
Dad, I'm ready to go home.
It's cold.
North side.
You'll be cold. North side? No, that's our side.
Yeah, and I'm on the north side.
Yeah.
So I should be in the sun. We should be fine.
In the sun.
All right, so there you go. OBM, the official printer partner of your Cleveland Browns. When you depend on the Browns to win, you can always depend on OBM because we tackle any size office. Call 216-485-2000. Visit OhioBusinessMachines.com. Coming up next, a little segment we like to call
The Scores.
Oh, do pay attention to the scores.
Well, if you like.
If you want to get rich.
That's right. That's right.
You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet. Coming soon to Ohio. Welcome back into Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, coming soon to Ohio. When you're on the injured list, you can get a little help getting back in the game if you call Elk Ohio, 1-800-ELK Ohio, a free case review. They will be that for you. Elk and Elk, proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. And now, time for a little segment we like to call Pay Attention to the Scores. And boy, you ought to.
Last week, 10-6 for me, 9-7 for you. Combined now on the season, 22 games over 500, Mr. Bishop. Let's go.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Feel like we had the 1 week with so far we've had at least a winning week every week.
We had just one off. I had one off.
Week 3, I was 8-8. Yeah, you went 7-9. And other than that, then you bounced back. We had 11-10 last week, 10-9 this week. And we're already 1-0 this week.
Yep.
Fewer games, folks. Fewer games.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah, we got some bye weeks finally starting to trickle in.
And what's ours? What's ours?
We are
week
2.5. Is that what you're asking? Our number?
Yeah.
I think we're 2.5 last I checked.
Okay. I like it.
Let me see if it went. It may have.
Hold on, I can look. 2.5.
Still 2.5? Yeah.
Still 2.5.
All right.
All right, let's get down to it. It is week 6 of the scores. First off, going to find out who's a contender and who is a pretender. Baltimore 3-2 on top of the AFC North, traveling to New Jersey to take on the G-Men 4-1, the New York Football Giants, hosting the Ravens. Zagura, lead us off.
This is one. This feels very much like the scene from Princess Bride for me. Like,
how can you choose the wine in front of me?
Yeah. Why wouldn't I want the Giants at home, almost a touchdown against the Ravens, who have not been a great football team this year? They are a very good football team. Lamar Jackson's maybe the best player in football. No Bateman. They're banged up in their secondary a little bit. But at the same time, who's not thinking that way? Mm-hmm. So therefore, you've got to take the Ravens and say they're going to put a beat down on them. But again, I'll go back to the fact that nobody's beating down the Giants.
And then again, why can't I pick the wine in front of you?
Yeah, the Giants just beat the Packers, who are not that great, but beat them. And we're not even asking them to win the game. We're just asking them to stay close.
That's it.
So at the end of the day, I can't make a single choice in this game. And so what I'll do is, when you can't make a choice, take the points. G-Men. Ravens 30, Giants 27.
Yeah,
Bishop.
I agree. Samesies on this one. I think Baltimore the last couple of times out, you think about that, they gave up all those points at the end against Buffalo, close win over Cincinnati. I think the Ravens will win. I just think it could be really close. I think this feels like a field goal game one way or the other.
Yeah.
So I like the Giants as well to be in a good spot there.
All right, Bishop, you'll kick us off next from the AFC North. The 2-3 Bengals off of that Sunday night loss to Baltimore, travel into the Big Easy to take on the 2-3 New Orleans Saints. I feel like this week shaping up to be a contender-pretender week. We're going to find out some things about some teams. Saints, Bengals, Bishop.
Yeah, tough team to figure out. I think Bengals fans are, deservedly a little jittery about how their team has started. A bit of a slow start for them across the board. Haven't been able to ignite Joe Mixon much. T. Higgins, a game timer. By the time we get to Sunday, he practiced today, but not a full participant. It's Burrow. It's in a dome. It's Chase back in Louisiana. It's against Dalton. I mean, all they got to do is win by a field goal. Give me the Cincinnati Bengals, 21, Saints 17.
Zagura.
Same. I'm not a believer in the Saints. Now, they play people tough. They played the Vikings tough. They were tough last week against Seattle, but the Bengals, this is when they've got to win. They've got to win convincingly. I do think there's something about the return to Louisiana. Bengals, ram it.
Up next, big one in the AFC South, Jacksonville. Speaking of teams you can't figure out, 2-3 on the season, traveling to Indianapolis to take on the 2-1 Colts. Zagura, what say you?
The Colts can't beat the Jags in Jacksonville.
No.
But this game is not in Jacksonville. This game is in Indianapolis. They had that kind of long week. I think that's something to remember there. They played that Thursday night debacle a week ago that almost sent Al Michaels to the loony bin. They said, here, have some of the commies and the Bears.
Enjoy that.
Enjoy that. Have a helping of that. Lawrence is so Jekyll and Hyde right now. I like the Jags, but I just think the Colts, they're getting Jonathan Taylor back, it looks like. I just think they will do enough to win. Colts 3, Jags 0.
Yeah, same. The Taylor could have maybe gone last week, but they gave him a little extra rest because he was going on the short week, so now he gets a full rest. I think a big Jonathan Taylor bounce back. I like the Colts as well. Huge, 6-1.
Next up, the 4-1 Minnesota Vikings. No one would have thought that. The Vikings headed to South Beach. Never know what can happen in South Beach. The Dolphins are 3-2.
Yeah,
I think Skylar Thompson's playing quarterback. This is at 1:40.
No one else is out of protocol. We know Tua is not.
Yeah. But how's Teddy not out of the protocol? He was never in the protocol.
I don't know. Correct. I'm telling you, what's going on down there makes no damn sense. Tua's not in the protocol either, yet they keep saying that he is. So what protocol are they following in Miami?
Guys are practicing but not able to play.
Who took Snowflake?
Yeah. Bishop, this is you.
By the way, we both had Minnesota in the playoffs, me and Bo. So this is no surprise to us.
Vikings, ram it.
by 1 billion.
Yeah, billion.
What is going on? So far, we've done every game the same. Me and him did everything the same.
It makes me all nervous. It all makes me nervous.
But last week we did that, and we were pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know.
Last week, our only differences were Chicago, Minnesota.
Here's what you have to
Baltimore.
do. This is what you got to do in these circumstances. You have to not allow what is happening in the midst of the picks to impact your picks.
Totally.
You have to just be honest with your thoughts. It's the only way to do it.
Yep.
All right. Again, in the theme of contender-pretender week, the New York Football Jets are 3-2 on the football season, and they're traveling to the confines of Lambeau Field. The Packers are 3-2 on the season. Jets, one of the hotter teams in the league. No idea what to expect from the Packers. Bishop, what say you?
All right. I have ridden the Packers. I rode them for a while, and then the disappointment started to set in. They haven't slumped anybody since the Bears in Week 2.
Who are awful.
Who are dreadful, okay?
Bears-Panthers is the worst game, by the way.
That's the worst game that could happen. The one last night's right there. The Vikings slumped them 23-7. Then they slumped the Bears. They escaped Tampa, who's not right. They beat the Patriots by 3 and then lost to the Giants. It's too much. The Jets have weapons. They're on the come. I like the Packers to win close, 24-21.
Green Bay versus Gang Green. Give me the Jets.
Let's go.
I like this team.
I like
think
them
they're
too.
Fun
They got
to
a ton
watch.
of weapons, man.
Yeah, they're fun to watch. They're like a fantasy team. I like them very much. Jets, I think they win it outright. How about that? And all of a sudden, everybody's a little unsettled in Lambeau. Ooh, a little bit crazy. We're all going a little nuts.
Yeah, I like it.
Hi, I'm back.
Good to see you.
Yeah. All right, we
Welcome.
move on. 49ers, Falcons. Falcons, 2-3 on the year. San Fran, 3-2 and playing some good football. Zagura, are you up first?
Hey, Dad, can I get some ice cream this time since we're just I've been a really good boy. The 49ers are the second best team in the NFC.
Watch me drink my coffee. Nate, Niners could be in a battle Sunday. Atlanta's a very good running team, and the Niners are hurting. Definitely out Trent Williams and his backup Armstead and Kinlaw starting defensive tackles. Most likely both starting defensive ends, Bosa and Ibukam, because they are playing on turf again. Ibukam has a strained Achilles, Bosa strained groin. Both lightly practiced yesterday for the first time since Sunday.
Are you reading?
Yeah, this is a text from
This
him.
is a text from
From
Pedro?
him this morning.
Al Shahir, out. He's a stud. Right cornerback and Jimmy Ward, out. Made top 100 list, out. That's 7 defensive starters. Grady Jarrett's going to have a field day against the Niner left tackle.
What was all of that? Was a text?
That was a text. That was a verbatim.
What time was that his time? Like 6 a.m.?
That's unbelievable.
11:25 a.m., so
What a
8:25.
scouting report.
Just a wake up and scout.
Who was like the legendary beat guy of the 49ers when you were a kid? Like, who was the guy who when
Cohen.
Cohen?
What was his name?
He was the guy that when
Yes.
it came for Niners information,
And
that's
Glenn
the guy we
Dickey.
go to.
And Glenn Dickey.
All right, okay. Any relation to Lynn Dickey, the Packers' legendary
No.
quarterback? No.
No.
Okay, very good.
So I just wrote back. I said, Dad, the Niners are going to stomp the Falcons. And he was worried about Grady Jarrett on left tackle. He's an interior defensive line. He's going to be on the guard.
You'll be fine.
You'll be fine. Niners, massive.
Same. That's
Like-
too easy. Too easy.
Gold rush.
Yep.
Up next, guys, 3-2 Tampa Bay. Lucky to be 3-2 on the football season. Traveling to the Pukers to battle Pittsburgh, 1-4 on the football season. Bishop.
I mean, here's another one of those teams that might be the worst in the NFL. I mean, Pittsburgh's playing
my
that
God.
way the last few weeks. They're absolutely dreadful. I think this game's gross. Tampa Bay's not right either. Did you hear Brady's comments about the sack and about how sometimes in life plays don't go your way, and then I've had things that go against me, and don't overthink it. So I'm just meandering.
Did you also see that he got fined for kicking?
I did. It's crazy. So it ain't all right in Tampa Bay, but it don't need
It's
to
fine.
be
It's fine. It's
20
good
to
enough.
10 bucks.
Yeah. I like that. Close to the number.
All right, next, big battle in the NFC West. Again, contender-pretender week in the Arizona
Neither of these
Cardinals are 2-3
Both
on the
pretenders.
football season, traveling to Seattle. Geno Smith and the Seahawks await 2-3 on the season. Zagura.
I can't believe it, but I'm going with the Seahawks here.
Same.
I think that I can't believe we're doing the same thing again. I don't buy the Cardinals. I don't like them outdoors either. I think Seattle in an ugly one, 13-6.
Here are last 3 weeks points scored by the Saints. Last 2 weeks, let's do that. And they're both on the road. They scored 48 and beat Detroit, and then they scored 32 against the Saints.
32-3.
Yeah, they're
Seahawks.
slinging it. I like the Seahawks winning this one outright as well. I believe they're are they 2.5-point dogs?
That's right.
Okay.
Favorites.
Yeah. Oh, they're favored? Okay. Either way.
I don't know. They didn't put a thing on there.
They win by 3. So I'm fine either way, whether they're whatever. You're
That's
safe,
2
pal.
of them.
You're safe. I think the Seahawks
They are actually underdogs.
They're 2.5-point dogs.
Yeah.
But I like them winning by 3. Give me Seattle.
All right, up next.
Even better. I like them winning outright.
Speaking of rough games, Carolina 1-4 on
Gross.
the year. Steve Wilkes will be the head coach on the sidelines.
He's
of
a
the
good man.
Panthers
I
on
like Steve
Sunday.
when
They
he's here.
travel
Great
to
man.
Los Angeles.
Yeah. If the Rams can't do this, like, it's abandoned ship time. And I don't know that they can. But
They're
I'm going to take
win.
Ram it anyway. I'm taking them anyway.
They're going to win. Carolina is inept and incompetent and everything else that means you suck. The question is just 10. Rams 11, Panthers 0.
Same.
Maybe the game of the year through 6 weeks.
This is it, baby.
In the NFL.
This is our one difference right
Back-to-back
here.
doozies. The late game at 4:30.
I don't know if it will be.
Buffalo visiting Kansas City.
It's a great game.
It is a fantastic game.
Was that game in the playoffs last year the best game you've ever seen? Most thrilling football game you've ever seen that you didn't have something invested in?
It was either that one or them against the Rams on Monday night. They've been in both of them.
Yeah, but
From a couple years ago.
That's a divisional championship game.
Yeah, it was electric.
all on the line. Mahomes went the distance in 13 seconds.
Yeah.
To get Butker the
I
field
was
goal.
at a game, though, I want to say that I was live, that was a Niners-Saints playoff game with Alex Smith. It was just a back-and-forth track
But
meet. And
you had something invested in it.
Totally invested.
So this is something that I didn't care who won or lost. Why is Mahomes an underdog at home?
Ridiculous.
Doesn't make any sense.
Ridiculous.
Chiefs win outright, 38-37.
And it is our difference. Everybody who's not doing it.
Well, all of the guys on Good Morning Football, all of the guys on Get Up were all Buffalo. All of them. 8 straight Buffaloes. Don't let that sway you.
I am. You can't have that kind of disrespect on Mahomes. No way.
38. Little Sky Moore.
Sky Moore.
Yep.
Remember they played them in the regular season once and ran it down their throats for like 800 yards against that nickel.
Yeah.
Poyer's back, but banged up still.
Yep.
Yeah, all right. I'm in. The disrespect. First time he's ever been a home underdog in his career.
Yep.
Final one, guys. Sunday Night Football, and it is a good one. Dallas, behind the arm of Cooper Rush, traveling to Philly to do battle with the unbeaten Eagles. Zagora.
This is wrong. This number's not right. Dallas isn't favored by 6.5.
Eagles are.
Yeah, but it has Cowboys minus 6.5.
Sloppy on the lines this week. That's three clerical errors.
Eagles by 6.5. Yeah.
Yeah. Was that you or your assistant?
That was C.
Sad.
It's we.
Sad. Hate to see it.
3 mistakes.
3 mistakes.
I'm being told it's
not
we.
great.
It's a good move. When one fails, we both fail on the side of the glass.
Oh my God.
United front.
All right, Dallas's D's awesome.
Yes, it is.
Too many weapons on Philly, and their D is also very good, and not enough weapons on the other side. Eagles, fly, 30-10.
I can't believe we've done it. They're all the same.
We've done it.
Did you pick all the same?
All the
This
same.
could be
It's
a
never
complete
happened
disaster.
in the
It never
history of
happens.
scores. We've
Ever.
never had this.
Over-unders were all the same.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
This is a Freaky Friday.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with it.
That Eagles team's the deal, man. They're
Proceed
the
with
deal.
caution.
Be very, very
We're
careful
done.
with all of that. Rumpke Waste Recycling, family-owned and operated. Whether you join them as a customer's employee, you'll become part of the family. Visit rumpke.com to learn more. We'll get your prediction for our game coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, coming soon to Ohio. Be sure to stop by for free Twisted Tea tailgate at the pregame party prior to every home game. Twisted Tea tailgate is located on the west side of First Energy Stadium. Combines the atmosphere of a beer garden with the live music, food, and drink options, along with areas for socializing. Twisted Tea tailgate opens 4 hours prior to kickoff and is open to fans with a ticket to the game. Your keys to victory, Dr. Z.
It's simple, and we're not going to get into long explanations here. Number one, take care of the football. Do not lose the turnover battle. Let's generate a turnover. Wouldn't that be nice? But don't turn it over offensively. When we don't turn it over, we win. Under Stefanski, we're 11-2 all time, and we don't turn it over, including 2-0 this year. Number two, get their offense, sell out, whatever you have to do, stop the run, take your chances with your corners man-to-man against their wide receivers. You got to take your chances because we cannot allow this team to control the game and control the clock running the football. We need to impose our will on them and put the game into the hands of Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi. My guess is it's going to be Bailey Zappi. So that's number two. And then number three, details, man.
Yep.
The details. No 15-yard penalties, dumb 15-yard penalties. No missing field goals, okay? No pre-snap penalties.
Yeah.
Just the details. Know your assignments, do your job, execute at a high level, and let's go out and beat a team that we are better than.
Mm-hmm.
We're better than this football team. They are
That's right.
Extremely average football team.
It's really the devil is in the details because that's what's done us. We have outplayed everybody we have played.
Everybody.
We have just botched these moments, these clutch moments where we have to be better in those moments. If you do that against a New England team that, to your point, they're trying to be what we are. They're just not as good. They don't have as much talent. They shouldn't be. And so you do your part, and you should be able to handle this one. It's hard. It's hard to not imagine
Folks,
a victory on
we've
Sunday.
botched moments, okay, against Baker Mayfield,
Yeah.
Joe Flacco,
Mm-hmm.
Marcus Mariota.
Yep.
Botched moments. Now, we won, fortunately, the Carolina game because we had enough of a cushion there, and we hit a 58-yard field goal, but we didn't necessarily botch anything per se against the Chargers. Our run defense, you could say, was botchamania because it was so inept, and we missed 2 field goals, and we threw a pick down there. That's a botching. But in terms of just like botching something and handing a gift on a silver platter, we didn't do that.
It's what I've said. Honestly, like if you compare the two teams in Ohio and Cincinnati at 2-3, they're not right offensively. We are right offensively. We're just not right in these critical moments. Ugh. And it's a killer. And that's the difference between 4-1 or 5-0 and 2-3. And we've had a lot of them, so we're due to not have any. Go ahead, Gibby.
I do have a question for you, Bo, from Axon.
Okay.
Bo, the weekend is looming. I need another video drink tutorial. Just remember, I'm a construction worker in Alaska, so don't get too fancy.
Construction worker in Alaska. Gosh, I mean, he's killing it.
That's what I mean.
God bless him. That's
I guess
incredible.
He's just wondering if you're going to debut another.
Do you guys have a request? Any requests out there? I did the old-fashioned. Do we want
He needs something probably that's whiskey-based. Otherwise, I was just going to tell him, hey, tequila, rocks.
Yukon Jack.
Rocks. Sliced jalapeno, squeeze a lime. Let's go.
It's fall though, like that's a summer, right?
I drink tequila all year round, but that's why I say it needs to be whiskeys. And
Yeah,
he's
it's probably got a
Alaska.
whiskey or something. Yeah, I mean, I think probably what I would do this time of year is and I'm guessing that he's got plenty of it up there. I would probably roll out a maple old fashioned. I mean, it's getting to be that time when you think about. Or the other thing we have around here, I don't know if he has them in Alaska, probably not. We have the fall fests, so I like to do a little apple cider old-fashioned. I substitute the simple syrup or sugar cube, whichever you use. I substitute that with apple cider, and usually about a teaspoon, something like that.
It's premature, but maybe
no.
He's in Alaska. No, okay.
Not yet.
Yeah, patience.
Time and a place. Not yet.
I'll tell you something that I enjoy this time of year, and I don't drink actual coffee, but I'll get like a decaf.
Yeah.
With a little bit of like a caramel flavor to it.
Sure.
A little salted caramel decaf coffee, a little bourbon in there.
Well, if you want to do
That's a
that,
real treat.
I'll tell you, if you want to do a little Kentucky coffee. So that would solve that problem. So then you go with the coffee, you go a shot of the bourbon of your choice or the whiskey of your choice. And if you feel like adding a little cream to that, you could, a coconut milk or something like that. That would be a delicious treat to set you off in the morning. Yeah, I like that.
No doubt.
Little Kentucky
to set you
coffee.
off in the morning.
Yeah, get you going in the right way, brother.
No, I go decaf. That's a wind down drink. That's when, and then I put
That's
on
a wind down.
I put on a fake mustache because it's a decaf. I don't need any caffeine.
You're already ready.
Boy,
to go.
second that motion.
Give it. They agree. They're united front.
It's crazy. Yeah.
It's outrageous.
We behind the window.
We behind the window.
By the way, Nana.
Do you remember?
Nana disappointed with the blonde.
Why? What happened?
Back in Gibbe. She was,
Yeah, but then came to your defense too.
well, that part.
Sweet Nathan, I
well,
believe.
I
you
was
were
quite.
called. Yeah,
I am.
You were. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nana's on the right side of things.
Yeah.
What I would say is, if you remember your history, this is very much similar to when Stevie went to work for Ashley Schaefer BMW, which ended up being Ashley Schaefer Kia. Remember how that worked out for everybody involved. Let's just remember that. That's the way that thing goes. All right, how are we going to do?
Not remember history is doomed to repeat it.
That's
Gibbe.
right. We're winning, man.
Yes.
We are winning. Enough
Yes.
of this nonsense.
And it's going to be calm. I'm calling for a calm win.
Yeah,
Like a nice 24-10.
let's go. Let's get it done. Go Browns. Let's go. Thanks for listening, everybody. Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, coming soon to Ohio.